Greetings. My name is Mary Alice Graham, and today I'll be giving an informative speech on breast cancer. I would like for you all in the audience to take a moment and close your eyes. Close your eyes, and I ask you to close your eyes due to I want you to imagine that it's you. So imagine celebrating your 37th birthday and you decide to conduct a self breast exam. Upon completing the self breast exam, you find out you feel like there's a lump in your breast. So you make an appointment with your PCM so that they can make an appointment for you to get a mammogram. You show up at your appointment, you explain to the PCM what's going on, and you tell them that you would like for her to put you in for a referral to get a mammogram. Once sitting there talking to her, she makes a big deal about why do you feel you need a mammogram? What's the reason behind a mammogram? Why do you feel like you feel a lump? And you just wondering, like, what's so hard about getting a mammogram? Like, what's so hard about scheduling you, a 37-year-old that conducted a self-exam and you felt something there. So then you take a breather and then you ask, are you able to conduct a breast exam on me? And they reply, sure. So the PCM conducts the breast exam and she makes a big deal. I'm not feeling what you're feeling, so it's probably nothing. You're adamant about it. You keep saying, hey, I know it's there. I felt it. So finally she says, okay, I'll send you to get a mammogram. So they schedule you for a mammogram. You go in, you sign in a day or two later, and they tell you, ma'am, I'm doing a mammogram, but I'm not seeing what you're feeling. So you explain to the nurse, hey, I did a self breast exam. This is what happened. This is what I felt. This is when I felt it. And then she says, you know what? I'm going to get you in to see if we can do an ultrasound of the breast to see if we can see what you're feeling. Once the doctor comes in, again, you explain yourself, why you feel like you need this done, when did you do it, and that you went to your PCM, they didn't feel what you felt. So he conducts another breast exam. Once during the breast exam, he realizes, hey, I feel what you're feeling, but we can't see it on the mammogram. So our next step is to do an ultrasound of the breast to see where this lump is located so we could try to take the proper precautions to get it taken care of. You go again, you get the ultrasound done. He tells you, hey, I need you to come back tomorrow. We're going to go in. We're going to try to scrape some of get a sample of it. We're going to send it off to get it tested. And we're going to check to see if it's Benadine. Nevertheless, they send it off. They tell you, hey, you got an appointment in 2 weeks to come back and get your results. And we'll go from there. You show back up 2 weeks later, you get your results, and the results say, you sitting in the waiting room, you're thinking, what if? How do I handle it? How do I tell my family? What do I tell my children? Is it severe? Can they cure it? Is it gonna kill me? All these thoughts running through your head as you wait for the results. The nurse comes out, the nurse gets you, she sits you down, she tells you that the doctor is on her way in. The doctor sits down and tells you, you know why you're here. Your results came back and you tested positive for stage 1 breast cancer. So we need you to make a decision to let us go in and remove the lump, and you can do chemo, radiation, and we'll go from there. They go in, they remove the lump, then they call you back and they say, hey, the Walter Reed Research Center called and said, we need to go back in because of the type of cancer you have. The type of cancer it is, which they call carcinoma, is stage 1, but because it's aggressive, We got to go in to remove a larger margin because some of the cells may have got out. But during the surgery, they realized that, hey, the cells got out, we got to remove lymph nodes. You make the decision after that second surgery, they call back, hey, we got to go back in. You make the decision to say, hey, you know what? Instead of all these surgeries that's taking a toll on my body, why don't I just get the breast removed? Then I don't have to do chemo. I don't have to do radiation. And the thing now anyway is implants. You know, everybody wants implants, right? Female wise. So nevertheless, you have the surgery. You get the breast removed. There's no chemo involved. There's no radiation involved. And you start the healing process. So just with that, the little bit of research during this time of doing research for this particular topic, breast cancer, because I feel big about this. It's very important to me because I have children. It's not genetic. It's not inherited. I did genetic testing, and it's just I'm the one of 8 women that that America says test positive for cancer. 1 out of 8. 1 out of 8. So what people don't understand that cancer is a pandemic here in America, which affects 1 out of 8 women. It's an increasingly high frequency and is widely recognized. The whole month of October is for breast cancer month. It's breast cancer month, breast cancer awareness. I even researched the data from the American Cancer Society, and it provides an estimate over 266,000 cases of breast cancer that are diagnosed every year. But with the reports that are given, the disease has become way less deadly than it used to be from 10 years ago. The death rate actually dropped 39% from 1989 when it was at its peak. The American Cancer Society also claims that the decline is associated with better treatment, increased awareness, and early screening. Remember how I said my primary care doctor was making a big deal because I wasn't 40. 40 is actually cut the number they came up with for you to get your initial mammogram. But just imagine 3 years from 37 to 40, not knowing. However, you got to remember that breast cancer is surrounded by different myths and misconceptions. And it's the attitudes that the society holds, and they don't know how to embrace it. You have to learn how to embrace it with facts. It's a win-win situation for the well-being of our society. The persistence of myths and confusion surrounding the disease has hindered the awareness of the disease. It's unfortunate that people can only separate myths from facts surrounding cancer when they experience it through their lives, a family member or friend or someone else. But it takes for someone to go through it to understand. Many people believe that breast cancer is inherited. Remember I talked about it? None of my parents had it. I'm that 1 in 8 women that was tested positive for breast cancer. But earlier reports showed that only 5 to 10% of breast cancer cases are recorded that's inherited. Advertising and social media are some of the major channels of raising awareness. It be all over social media. Like, I'm real big on breast cancer, like making people aware. Like, you should request a mammogram before 40. Because if I would have never been persistent about that, I probably would have been lingering. I probably wouldn't have been in stage 1. I probably would have been in stage 4. However, society respects that the researchers are looking for a cure. But right now, what they do is chemo and radiation. Recognize that people that live with cancer so that they can start recognizing people that live with it. And that comes from my research. The perception about cancer has transferred with the different centuries. For instance, women have the notion that it is a personal responsibility, and they are to blame for not detecting the signs of early cancer. You got to know how to do a proper self breast exam. There's a million ways to do it, but there's only one right way. And it will reduce frustration in the victims. And you're collectively responsible for you. Because if I wouldn't have been responsible for me, I could have walked out from what the doctor was telling me. You know, society should also embrace a transparent culture about breast cancer. Society should celebrate the victims who have survived breast cancer, which will encourage other women to go for screening. Just imagine a 37-year-old coming up tested positive for cancer and she's a survivor. You have older women that test positive, but they are survivors.